And we are live. Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the folks about the beautiful people that sponsor this podcast.
As always, the Wanna Parlay podcast is indeed brought to you by the good people of Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000 and walking out the door. We're at just the midway point of another one a week. Already tons of people cruising the leaderboards, making tons of money. The pick'ems are getting eaten up. The Parlay Royale is starting to get knocked on. And the main event's still going, but it remains wide open, people. It costs you just $2 for a chance to play for $2,000. If you have any common sense or any scratch available right now, I'd head over to the main event and get yourself a swing at that. Got a big-time college basketball Saturday coming up, some hoops starting to heat up, and we are about ready to turn into official March Madness swing. So big time stuff coming for the main event. Got a great show for you guys today. Had a great interview lined up with our most recent main event winner, Mark. Unfortunately, just got a text from him. He is still under the weather, so we're going to have to circle back to that interview. But we got Tone coming back on the show, who went red hot in his 30 picks he handed out last time at Final Count. 30 picks. So stoked about our show. And then a reminder before we get going, got contests coming back up with Hex Head. They've been super popular. People have loving the prizes that we've dished out. Brought on David Smerling, the One Mad Raider, to come on specifically to talk about doing contests with them. Those are coming back. But in the meantime, if you're just itching for some Hex Head gear, you go over to their website, type in promo code BOGO50. They're currently running a buy one, get the second one, 50% off if you use that promo code. And again, more contests with them and Wanna Parlay coming shortly. We will keep you guys posted on all of that. Lance, let's do the podcast.
Well, it's another show, which means we started off the same way every time. Accountability time, accountability hour, whichever one you prefer. And
we're getting ready to rename the segment. It's accountability time because we usually suck at picking, but all of a sudden, look out, boys. We're getting hot.
The show's getting a little hot. And I give a lot of credit to Tone. He's brought in a new energy, and he's brought some life to me and Jack's picks. So far in this one a week, I'm 7-0. You could say 8 if you wanted to count the parlay win, but I'm just going individual picks. We went 4-0. Last show, Lakers money line, that cashed. That one was easy. Suns money line, that was that Clippers game. They were down about 16, I believe, at half, and they were looking awful. Looked like the sun was setting. It looked like it was exactly what we thought was going to happen with the Suns, but they fought like hell in that second half. They stopped turning the ball over, and they got the Clippers in half-court offense, which they're actually surprisingly not that great at. Well, actually, Harden just had 50, so maybe I'm wrong, but Suns sneak away Kevin Durant's heroics in the second half. We get the win. That one was definitely the luckiest one on my sheet. So it was Lakers money line, Suns money line. Next was Warriors money line. That one hit easily, won by 12. And then last was the player prop for my folks over that are placing parlays at Wanna. You'll see me on the leaderboard. I don't get to collect any of the money, but hey, it's a pride thing. It was Amen Thompson over 8.5 rebounds in that Pacers-Rockets game. And that one, I believe he had 12 easy pick'ems. 4-0, 1-0 parlay cash. We love it. And Jack, your turn.
I also have some stuff to celebrate because I finally got right in college hoops, which makes the guy feel good. Real quick on your picks. Lakers money line, great thing to tack on to the parlay. The points they ended up covering, I think, anyway, but it was a tricky little mess around. So good spot, good smart pick right there. Suns money line, that second quarter, we had that Kevin Durant Budenholzer moment. All of a sudden, it looked like the exact Suns team we thought they were. I should say, if they could get hot, that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I need more than being 2-1 in your last 3 to get excited about you. We'll see what all becomes of them. Warriors, Steph Curry, generational. Thank God. What a fun career we've gotten to watch from him. And then Amen Thompson cruised in that. That covered early third. No issues there. So across the board, just a clean, no stress, fun parlay. The Suns made you work for it, but you know what you were doing. You were working when you put that pick down. That was never going to be comfortable. But so to me, I go 5-2. I give myself 6-2 because I had a scratch. I wanted to go Austin Reeves. He did not play. I did make the quick mention on the podcast and did get it in time to execute when he was scratched from the lineup to switch it out for Dalton Connect, whose points and rebounds both cash. So I'm giving myself the 6-2. Everyone's going to have to deal with that, but I deserve some much due praise after struggling.
I think you deserve that. Yeah, 100%. You mentioned it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'll start in the college hoops. Texas plus 7.5. Took me to double overtime, I believe, in this game. Last time they did that, they found the way to ruin this bet. So plus 7.5, no issues. End up winning against at Mississippi State. Massive win for Texas, who now looks comfortably like they're going to get in, and they're going to be a lot of fun to bet on in the SEC tournament because I don't know, when they put it together, they can beat anybody. They got a lot of good wins, a lot of ugly losses. The wins seem to matter more this time of year. Texas A&M plus 4.5 versus Auburn. Caught them on senior night. That was a big plot line we didn't discuss enough. Something I'm going to point out when you're watching these Saturday games in college basketball. Senior night and home basketball still means something in college athletics. So big time stuff there. Hand Auburn just their third loss this season. Arkansas plus 7.5 at Vanderbilt. I do not understand people's obsession with Vanderbilt. Don't know how they got this many points. They were up 15 at the half and cruise. This was free money. Smerling tried to talk me out of it.
Sure
God
did.
damn it. I should have had more money on it. New Mexico minus 1.5 at Nevada. That one pretty much cruised. BYU plus 9.5 at Iowa State. One that just, I don't know. It was a hunch bet playing against Iowa State. Both defenses looked insane. BYU looks like a Sweet 16 team to me, pending their path. They look pretty damn good in that game. They end up winning that game in overtime as well. Great college basketball on Tuesday night. And then the one loss, San Diego State minus 2.5 at UNLV. I thought they were finally putting it all together. I don't know that team's making the tournament as it stands now. It'll be interesting to see how many from the Mountain West get out. Then the NBA, the Rockets plus 4 at Pacers. Stupid. Felt like the Rockets needed a win. I'm going to go ahead and chase it later again tonight. And then obviously brought it up. But Connect plays for Reeves and does well. He seems to do well in that spot when we can just plug and play him. It's not Austin Reeves. It's rookie ball, but he shoots the shit out of it and he plays a role. I appreciate that from a guy who's been a number one his whole life.
No, 100%. And we'll talk about Lakers, of course, more when, speak of the devil, in the waiting room. Tone, let's bring him on.
Oh, beautiful. So, Tone, if you can hear me, literally, I'm not going through all 30 picks. We'll spend a half an hour on it. But Tone goes 20-10, cleans up yet again. This is after he went 11-6 last time. If you're keeping count at home right now, that's a combined 30-12 from our picks last time. So don't look now, but the podcast is heating up. That puts us at 52-21 going back to last Thursday's show. If you've been tailing us for a week here, you're plus 31 units-ish. Some of our picks were parlays that hit for bigger value. Some were just taking some money lines that weren't quite as much juice in them. But plus 31-ish units up if you've been tailing us for a week. So we're proud of it around here. We're proud of it. Tone, you had a lot to do with that. Hell yeah. How you doing?
Man, that's dope to hear, man. What's up, guys?
Dude, we're just basking in it right now. Before we get into the news, Lance went perfect. I went 6-2. You went 20-10. That's just dominance from the group right here. That's just dominance.
Phenomenal. We got a nice slate tonight.
Yeah.
I'm fired up to get to it. Lance, take us to the show. Let's get into topics.
First, let me read out KG Little Joe's. He says, "What's up, gents? I'm on time this show. No hot blondes here today, just some dudes." Well, I know how dudes get you fired up, KG, so we won't mention that. Lonnie Lyle, new to the chat. He says, "Yo! What's up, Lonnie? How we doing?" So, wait, do we want to go through Tone's picks? We got to go through the 20-10. I know there's a lot of them, but should we rattle these?
Speed them, Tone. Do you have them handy? Because I don't know that I got them all written down. I got all these honored that. So I'll get through what I got, and you fill in the blanks here.
Just rapid
You got
fire.
Toronto's over in total. You got Naismith's over 11.5. You got New Hampshire's under total. They only had 56 in that game. Clean one there. Very little sweat. Lakers first half spread dominated. It was actually easier, less sweaty to take them in the first half than the game. Kentucky money line easy, Purdue money line easy, Memphis money line easy. Coastal Carolina, you said when you put that pick on there that one was going to be a little sweaty, and that's the one you go down on in college hoops. Northern Kentucky, a team I didn't even know existed until you brought him up, with a big win. Zion Williamson over 22.5. I'm pretty sure he had 22 in the first half, so pretty clean one right there. Knicks over 56.5 and Golden State first half over. You split up the bet and you just got good defense in that first half. So you got screwed on both of those. Minnesota money line over Philly. feeling like fading Philly is an easy bet going forward. Julius Randle, unfortunately, did not hit his over. Kind of a sleepy night from a shooting perspective from him. Mike Conley hits all of his overs, so comfortable there. Drummond over rebound and assists. I didn't know if that one was right or wrong.
I was looking for a sheet. I couldn't find it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we got to go and just get into the Wana app and see if it actually covered on that one. Paul George over. Hilarious you lose on that one after we spent 5 minutes each of us raking Paul George. Lakers money line, easy. Luka over 30.5, criminal. He had 20-something in the first, ends up with just 30 on the number. You lose it by a half point. Dalton over in threes. Cash had two on his own. Vandy had 2. Both of them were on 0.5 numbers. Giannis rebound, I don't know how he did.
The under hit by half a rebound. He had 12. It was unbelievable.
There you
I was
go.
watching the number.
All of my fades hit the Giannis and the Ant. I think it was the 28.5.
In the future, Tone, you got to recap your picks because no one can rattle them off like you can. Every time we get to your picks, you spend 45 seconds saying things that would take me 10 minutes, and you just fucking roll.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Will do.
So moving forward.
The boys are hot. The boys are hot.
Yeah.
Take our picks tonight. We're rolling.
The boys are hot. All right. So moving forward, we're going to other topics with Tone. Let's start in the NFL. The Seattle Seahawks release Tyler Lockett, and their other receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. Is Geno next? What are our thoughts going around the Seahawks and what's next for these what's the future for these players?
That's weird. I don't know what they're up to. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have a plan, hopefully. But if I was Geno, I would be worrisome right now, and I would be probably trying to find me an exit before things just blow all the way up. His value is high right now. I think a lot of teams would love to have a Geno, and I think he can easily force a trade, or I don't know what his contract situation is, but Seahawks, I don't think they have a bright near future. So, if I was Geno, let me go ahead and, get somewhere as well.
Jack, what do you think?
I don't think the Lockett thing is shocking. And I feel like the Seahawks have been in a little bit of a holding pattern for the last couple of years. They've overachieved a little bit, but Geno was always going to be a 2-year guy. I'm kind of with you on Geno. If you start evaluating the 32 best quarterbacks in the league, I think he hangs in there around that 20 line. So if you're going to go shopping, I don't know what's out on the market that's better than Geno, particularly with where they're going to be drafting at. You're not going to turn it over and roll it with a rookie. Nor is there anybody on the open market that's going to be a franchise guy going forward. So I don't know why you'd bail on Geno. All of a sudden, I could just see blowing this thing up for a season and try to rebuild just because they've been stuck in that like Steelers lane of mediocrity where they've been, playing every last week of the season per playoff slot for like 4 seasons. Some years they win it, some years they don't, but they haven't been a contender since that Legion of Boom situation. So the Tyler Lockett thing, although he's been like Mr. Seahawk, he's the only carryover seemingly from those great Seahawk Pete Carroll teams. I do not think fits this offense. Is it Mike Macdonald is the head? Yeah, Mike Macdonald's the head coach of the Seahawks. He's kind of off that coaching tree with McVay, with Zach Taylor, with LaFleur. And that whole offense is predicated around the kind of ebbs and flows and the trends of football. Everything was stuck in the box. We were always running the ball as 21 personnel running downhill. Then they realized all the space on the outside. So you started going 10 personnel and lining it up wide. The innovation of Sean McVay and these new wave of coaches is staying in 10 personnel, but bringing them in tight and asking those guys to come chip and block off the edge and do all that sort of stuff. That's why Deebo Samuel's been so successful. A lot of these bigger slot kind of guys. And you just can't. You got Tyler Lockett who can't play outside. He's only ever going to be that slot guy for you. And he notoriously is avoiding contact. He's making career decisions constantly on the field. He's a guy that, concedes tackles. He's not going to stick his nose in the blocking game. And so I think, when you drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba, it was always you're going to move off Lockett, and he was going to be your go-to inside receiver. DK Metcalf went out on top of it. Clearly, for move one to be Lockett to go, I think this is like Myles Garrett with the Browns right now, just going, I don't have that many more years in my 20s to fuck around with a team that's not trying to win a Super Bowl right now. So I get the move from DK. Would love to see him go. I mean, I put on here, Pete Carroll drafted both of these guys. And all of a sudden, the Raiders have been in talks for going after some big name quarterbacks. I would love to see one, if not both, these guys end up in Vegas with Bowers and this new Brady run, kind of organization, and see if we can get the Raiders fucking around in that Chiefs division a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a great call out. The Pete Carroll drafting both those receivers. I don't know if they'll go the DK route, but I could easily see him picking up a Lockett just because the familiarity with Pete Carroll. KG Little Joe's in the chat. He said, didn't Metcalf request a trade last year too? I actually personally don't know. I don't think so. Anyone? Well, regardless if he did or didn't, he did again. And the Seahawks, they got a young head coach. And they're rebuilding. They tried to see the Geno thing, see if it had could have any success. They didn't make the playoffs, so I could see them moving off Geno. I wouldn't be surprised there, and just kind of rebuild that whole thing. This is as good of a stuck roster as there is in the NFL, though. Between them and the Steelers, that's why I kind of use them as an example. This defense pretty damn good. And they've done really well in the draft the last couple times out. You got Jackson Smith and Jigba kind of coming into his own. They feel like they're a legitimate quarterback, like a top-end quarterback away from going back to being super competitive, especially in a time the 49ers are a little bit down. The Rams are probably back. The Cardinals, people hope they're on the come up because they were down as bad as anybody 2 seasons ago, but they still feel like they're a little bit lost. So I don't know. The NFL misses the 12th man a little bit. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what the Seahawks do. I feel like there's a lot still in the open, like for a lot of moves they still need to make. So that one, I'm kind of like we'll see. All right, let's move forward. The Texans trade for Christian Kirk with a divisional rival with the Jaguars. So with the Texans trading for Christian Kirk, do you think Diggs is out? Or because they have a lot of receiver talent, but they had 2 season-ending injuries with those talents. So thoughts? What do you think the Texans are doing? Who are they moving off of? Or are they keeping everybody?
I think this is Tank Dell insurance, and I'm not sure that your boy Diggs is in the long-term plans either. I don't know. Now that Nico Collins has exploded, I don't know that Diggs sees himself as a number 2. I don't know that that's a long-term solution, particularly for the amount of money that they're paying him right now. To me, this is Tank Dell insurance right now, where it's just poor Tank Dell, who's damn good, just had a second kind of horrific injury. And now you're sitting there. I just think they need another kind of day in, day out player. It's going to get you, actually 17 games of a season.
I think the Texans are. I think they're playing to win. I think they're going to make some moves, and I think Diggs and Stroud. I think they like playing together. I think they love playing together. But I think they're going to continue to build somehow, some way. I don't think they're going to tank. I think they're going to try to make some moves and be as competitive as they can. I think that's what they believe. I think they have Stroud. I think they really feel that CJ is going to, do some amazing things.
Yeah,
I think Tone's spot on right there because like last year they got busy. They go and sign Joe Mixon. They bring in Diggs in the first place. I think one of the proven methods to get yourself a Super Bowl contending roster is to try to pull it off on a legitimate quarterback's rookie contract. So I'm with you. I think all these moves, these aren't in any way like the Seahawks where maybe it's not quite your year and you're trying to get yourself flexibility down the road. This is very much all moves are in an effort to win within this rookie contract window, which is 3 more years. And they're going to re-sign him before then. He's too good. So you got 2 years before you redo the deal.
I do think the Texans are going to still fall short as shit now. Don't get it twisted. Their heads, I think they think that they're going to compete for a Super Bowl.
Okay, so my thoughts on the Texans. So last year, everyone was building them up after Stroud was the rookie of the year at quarterback, offensive rookie of the year. So everyone was all hyped. They had all the hype. They're signing all the free agents, all the skill guys. They got Mixon, they got Diggs. They were all pretty. Then all the shit fell apart as a classic football season when you have high hopes. It can happen. So I think the Texans traded for Kirk. So they are officially know their skill room, even injuries, not injuries, like they got their skill guys. Now in this draft, the only bright spot on their offensive line is Laramie Tunsil. Other than that, it was actually a pretty average, if not below average O-line. So I think they're going to draft heavy in the O-line because their defense is a freak show. Their defense is a top defense in the NFL. So I think they're going to go heavy in the O-line and draft there and not sign anything like that. So that's my thoughts. I think they draft O-line and get better from there. They already got their skill positions. They got their quarterback. They got their defense. Like the last piece for this Texans team to have real success is the O-line.
I'm going to tell you right now who the guy they're going to draft is, too. It's going to be Tyler Booker with their first-round draft pick, the kid out of Alabama. Best guard in this draft, potential all-pro type player. It's not sexy to draft interior O-lineman in the first round, but that guy's like, it's like drafting the kid out of Notre Dame that plays for the Colts right now, where it's just like, okay,
Nelson.
bona fide fucking stud right there. He's a plug-and-play difference maker for his first year. Tyler Booker out of Alabama. That's who it's going to be, Lance.
Hey, he's a baller. The fact that I know an interior guard's name, if I know his name, that means he's damn good.
A 21-year-old guard.
Exactly.
He's gotta be fucking.
All right. Let's move forward. Last NFL bit, we got Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals receives permission to seek out a trade. My initial thoughts. The Bengals saw what the Raiders paid Crosby and kind of looked at Hendrickson and said, sorry, buddy, we can't do that. You can go look for another team, figure it out. And that's kind of where the collapse, because the reports were saying with Joe Burrow and they want to all stay together. After that, what's his name, Max Crosby's money, we ain't do it. They can't do that. They can't keep everyone.
And at the very least, then you get to negotiate on a real number. He can go seek a trade, figure out what he's going to get on the open market, and they can either match or let him go. At the very least, because right now, once Crosby signs that, Hendrickson led the league in sacks last year in a damn good division too. So I'm very much. It's the only play they have right now, especially when they're still trying to negotiate with Jamar and T. Higgins and do all this. You got to get a hard number and see if it's feasible. And if not, you got to move on. And still, which is crazy, I still think an open conversation that has to be going on in the building is there a place to place Jamar? Is Jamar in the long-term plans? Because that's I don't understand how you can go re-up those three guys' money, all on the team, all healthy last year. T. Higgins a little unhealthy, but for the most part, you were rolling this group out. You better, you're putting a lot of pressure on your draft this year, and you're putting a lot of pressure on getting that starters out of 4 of those picks, which is crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys hit the nail on the head, man. But what I will say, I think Burrow is thorough, and I don't want to see the Jamar and Burrow tandem. I don't want to see it blow up. I really think if they can figure something out, Cincinnati may get one. I think.
Hey, I hope they do, because you're damn right. That connection is, you could argue, the best in the NFL. Hey, those guys, they get it done. They get it done. Yeah. KG Little Joe's, he says, I feel like, this is back when we were talking about Diggs. He says, I feel like Diggs already wore out his welcome in Texas, which I'm actually not far off. I actually kind of agree with you, because they brought him in to kind of be a big difference maker in that season, and then you blow the ACL, and you're paying him a lot of money, and it's like you got a lot of future ahead of you with CJ Stroud. Maybe you move off Diggs. Still a great player, don't get me wrong, but maybe you move off him and get spend your money elsewhere. All right, let's move on. I got a few NBA topics to bring up. First one, Zion Williamson, over his last 16 games on 27 minutes per game, is averaging 26, 7, and 5 on 63% from the field, and his plus minus is plus 32. Guys, I want to know, what the hell does the Pelicans do? What does Zion do? What's going on here? Because the Pelicans have not been good maybe ever since they became the Pelicans, other than Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday making it to the second round, which is their Super Bowl or NBA Finals, if you will. What do the Pelicans do? Do they trade Zion and blow it up again? They got DeJounte Murray with a torn Achilles on their bench. They got a lot of problems. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are.
My favorite comparison right now for Zion, and I feel like, man, that's baby Bron, man. Zion is a phenomenal talent, and if he can get that accomplished in New Orleans, who knows what he can do on, somewhere great. But I think Zion is Julio Jones for the Falcons right now, and he needs to get out of there before the talent is just all the way gone. I mean, I feel like Zion easily can be top 3 in the league for 5 years straight, and it doesn't matter who else is in the league if Zion can be unlocked. If he can get to the right facility that's going to care about his fitness and get him around some wise veteran players, maybe that may be another thing that he needs. I don't know if the Pelican has any of that. But I think it's too much gumbo down there. He's popping off too many crawfish heads. He's down there with the strippers. He got 4 different baby mamas. Probably, I don't know. I mean, Zion's crazy right now. Him, man. Zion needs to get out of Dodge.
Jack, thoughts?
It feels like, and I don't know enough about the NBA. I know Zion, like every time he's healthy and playing, he feels like an auto 27. I don't care who the matchup is. It just feels like an auto 27. I don't know that you get the same effort on the defensive end. I've never seen him, in that playoff series where he's got to take on the matchup. It just hasn't happened yet for him. So it's just a big question mark. But just as a casual here and just observing it, as a small market team, don't you have to build through the draft? I mean, the team they assembled for him was C.J. McCollum and Brandon Ingram and who was playing center? Was it Valanciunas?
They had that young rookie. They had the Yves, Yves Missy or something like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't perfect. It was like you were asking like Jose Alvarado and Larry Nance Jr. off the bench to give you big minutes, and it's like those guys aren't ever going to figure in. But that Brandon Ingram lineup with C.J. McCollum, like that felt like what you're going to get on the open market to come to New Orleans and play. So you got to go dominate through the draft, and I don't know that like. It's just a misfit. I feel like they missed their window with Zion, if that makes sense. Like, it's just not a guy that's going to play till he's 35. It's just out of the question, especially this version of Zion until he's 35.
In the existence of New Orleans, have they ever come close to a championship yet?
The best team I remember in New Orleans is that Chris Paul, Trevor Ariza team. And even that, it was like they just stole 8 years of Chris Paul's career. That's all it felt like. Yeah,
I think it's too much voodoo down in New Orleans. I honestly do. I don't think they need a team. I mean, even if you look at football, sorry if the Saints fans are watching, but man, I remember when they had the paper bags on their heads. It was bad in New Orleans. It's and then I'm sorry, New Orleans fans, but you only got that Super Bowl to repair the city. If you really want to know, that was your 9/11 Super Bowl. Same thing that happened up there for the Giants. I'm sorry, guys. It wasn't earned if you think it was.
Oh my God, that is awesome. I mean, hey, and I will say, Boogie Cousins has come out and said there's a curse down there in New Orleans. He said, I mean, anyone that goes there, it's like injury problems because this season. The potential starting lineup, what it looked like in the offseason, what it was going to be. It was going to be point guard. You got DeJounte Murray, who I think he's a real player. I thought he's it was a little weird, the fit with Trey, and we all knew it was, but he's a real point guard in this league. Breaking news. Lonnie Lau gives us the Commanders are re-signing Bobby Wagner. Wow. So they're one more season of Bobby.
That's my bro.
Oh, there you go.
Here's another crazy take.
Yeah.
For Zion to be a legitimate title contender, does he have to be the number 2 on the team?
Yes.
Doesn't he have to be? Yeah.
I believe so too.
So already you're in a weird spot. Like you almost have to ship Zion like for best for all parties involved because you're not going to bring in the incumbent superstar over Zion off the free agent market. And do you have time to let a rookie be coming and take that? Like I just don't. None of that.
So that's where
I don't see Zion's career.
Yeah, so that's where I'm saying their lineup. It was DeJounte Murray, C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and the rookie center Yves, whatever it is. He's actually a good player. So that's a legit starting lineup. Like you would think they could do a little damage. I mean, they got also Trey Murphy III. They got Herb Jones. They got real fucking basketball players, but New Orleans can't stay healthy. They can't do it. Everyone gets hurt.
The ceiling for that team was getting bounced in the play-in by the Lakers, right?
Who knows if you could stay healthy? Like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy III are legit players. They're 3-and-D wings that can play.
Well, Brandon Ingram gone and DeJounte Murray now gone, right? The whole thing's been blown up. The whole thing's over. Yeah.
So that's where it's like it's so tough because you don't really know because of injury. You just have it. You just don't have the game film. You just don't know.
Zion's contract is till 28.
Say that again.
Zion's contract is till 2028. So I mean,
yeah, God.
And the thing,
Zion stay in New Orleans till 2028. Like,
I get, and another thing that I don't like about or what's my problem with these Zion stats, because I brought it up the last 16 games. How hard are teams playing the Pelicans that only have 14, 15 wins? Who's playing hard when you're going at New Orleans and not even half the stadium's filled because no one gives a shit? And the teams are, it's like, always that theory when teams go at Lakers, they play as hard as they can. If you're playing at Pelicans, so are the stats inflated? There's so much question. My personal opinion, I say just blow it the hell up. Just blow it up. Just move on.
I still would like just a little run of Zion in the playoffs because I do think his game translates to the playoffs. Like all of a sudden it's about the 3 all season, then you hit the playoffs and the shots move in. It's about that mid range again. That guy seems to shoot 90%. Regardless of who's guarding him, just exploding off the ground, just get into the high point, fucking a second faster than anyone else can.
Here's KG Low Joes. He says the real question is how many more times will Zion get hurt between now and 2028?
Exactly.
I mean,
in New Orleans.
And the hardest part with injuries in the NBA and like everything in the NBA, my whole problem is the guaranteed money. I mean, Zion got that huge contract, and it's like if I'm not on a competitive team and I missing a game means as much as playing the game, it doesn't matter. Like I'm getting paid, so there's a lot of damn problems going on. Here's Jeremy Cantor. He says, realistically, do the Pelicans change their name or city or conference before they are real contenders in the West?
City.
Okay, so we think city. You think New Orleans loses a team?
If they want, I think they can do something like Shreveport or something like. But New Orleans, I mean, even just going as a tourist and indulging in what the city has to offer, everything is voodoo related. Everything is voodoo related. Like, I mean, they sell the voodoo stories. Like I went on some ghost hunted tours and stuff.
Oh, the whole thing's a ghost town. It scares the shit out of me. It's the one city based on French form of government, not English government in this country. The whole town, it's a weird cultural crossroads. The whole place makes no sense to me.
KG Low Jones comes in and says, Zion reminds me of Boogie Cousins, and Jeremy Cantor backs it with Cousins is a great comparison. What are your guys' thoughts?
The Pelicans
have
a lot of talent. Yep. They
Boogie was stuck in Sacramento.
Yeah, but my thing is, I'm like, I don't know. Boogie wasn't hurt like Zion was. Remember, Boogie blows his Achilles and is done. Basically, that's the end of his career. But in the beginning, remember, we're watching Boogie in Sacktown with fucking Tyreek Evans, who can't not smoke pot to stay in the league. I mean, Boogie's putting up crazy numbers, like 28, 16, and 5. Man, I mean, that's one of the biggest what ifs is that Pelicans team with Boogie and AD when they got together.
Sneaky works.
Oh, it worked. They talk about they were going to win the championship. I'm like, maybe that's a little aggressive, but you sure as hell would have been a contender because it was working and it looked good. But
who puts a player on a team in a city with legalized weed who has weed problems? So, I mean, like, who does that? Who was the GM? Why did you didn't
Vlade Divac, and he has so many problems that I mean there's a lot more that go past that. But you're 100% right, Tom. That's so funny.
We're spending way too much time on a Pelicans team that's just terrible. But I got to make one more point. I just said they got to build through the draft. They've crushed the draft actually. Like they got the Anthony Davis pick, like lock Hall of Famer. They got Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
They nailed the Herb Jones.
Yeah,
pick. They've been great.
And they just can't stay healthy. It's
can't put it together.
All right.
Brutal.
So Jack, you're 100% right. We spent way too much time on the Pelicans organization.
Yeah.
Let's move forward. So last night on a back-to-back with no Kawhi or Norman Powell, James Harden drops a 50-piece on the Detroit Pistons, which includes Cade Cunningham and those folks. I'm really bringing this up because I just wanted to hear a little bit. I mean, where do you guys have James? Is he the third best shooting guard of all time?
Hell no.
Probably not. No.
Who would you put above him? It's Kobe
So
and
it's
Jordan.
Michael Kobe out of the gate, right?
Yeah,
So
Kobe
we're
Jordan.
looking
Who's
for our
better?
next best two.
Hey, if Kobe Jordan, fair. I can go a lot of places before James Harden. Me personally.
Yeah. No,
that,
it's valid.
If they're going off numbers, cool. Cool, respectfully. But like, do we label a Penny just straight point guard or shooting guard?
I'd probably go point guard.
Penny would be a point guard. He facilitated.
Okay, all right. But James played point too, some, right?
That's the interesting part. Is you don't.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's a bunch of threes that I think of as twos. Like I think of Tracy McGrady as a two, even though he's 6'9" and was
McGrady.
small forward.
Harden, especially when his biggest success and the closest was with Chris Paul, and Chris Paul was a point guard. So I kind of keep Harden at the two personally.
Yeah. So the point you're making, I think it's fair, is like all of a sudden you start looking at a lot of these top 10 lists, top 10 threes of all time, top 10 scoring all time, top 10 assists all time. A lot of these numbers that you're going to attribute and find the best players of all time. Harden's all over those leaderboards. So all of a sudden, when it's all said and done, it'll be interesting to look back at Harden's career in totality. He only went to one finals, and it was the 6-man OKC team. Never got over the hump of the Warriors. They were up going into Game 6, and Chris Paul does his hamstring. So it was damn close. And that, I think you win that game, and all of a sudden it reframes his entire career. But then Brooklyn's a disaster. Not his fault, but it just didn't work out. And he's always been a little bit like, it's not that he doesn't want to be a celebrity. It feels like the guy's camera shy. It goes back to this conversation we had last week about the face of the NBA stuff. And so there's like this weird thing where he's just out of the limelight in these conversations. And the weird eye test, we're all kids that grew up on stories and the memory of Michael Jordan. And so if you just don't put it together in postseason, none of it really counts for anything. And unfortunately, outside of being the 6-man on that OKC team, he's never put it together in the postseason.
Hey, and those are valid points. I got the chat right now. KG Lil Joe's was quick on it. I mean, it was right there. He says Jordan, Kobe, Iverson. That's valid.
See, I mean, that's weird. If we're gonna put
Iverson bona fide one, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Where does Steph fall then?
Yeah, because I'm with you. Steph's the one, right? But he really plays the two.
I would say Iverson was the two. He was never the ball handler facilitator. He was ball handler for sure, but he wasn't like he was kind of his own show.
Eric Snow was the point guard, so I give you that.
Yeah, and those teams 100%.
He was an upgraded Isaiah Thomas, is who AI was. It was the next version of it. It's a guy that dropped 51 on the Lakers in the finals. Iverson is Allen Iverson's the top 5 point guard of all time. Allen Iverson's
Iverson's a shooting guard. That's the thing. Curry
Allen Iverson's 6'1".
I know. It was a weird, but like Tone said, Eric Snow was the one.
Where does Melo
fall? I thought of what it is. You know what Eric Snow was? Eric Snow was that Derek Fisher 2, where it was like he's the 2, but he's got to guard the 1.
Yeah, so I guess it's tough to have an argument, and we should probably, if we're gonna do these top 10s, we'll dedicate a show in the summer when there's no NBA to one of these. So we'll back pocket that one, but next topic: Celtics beat Trailblazers with no Porzingis, Tatum, or Holiday. Derek White went for 41, and Peyton Pritchard went for 43. Why I bring this up is this all comes back to Tatum's recent comments about being underappreciated. This Celtics team is insane. If you have Derek White and Peyton Pritchard combining for 40 plus each, do you think Tatum's team is the reason why he doesn't get appreciated as much? Is it the quote unquote aura, or what is it?
I think that's 100. We kind of covered it, where it's just like one. It always comes down to the eye test. We're not being misled. We're all coming to the same conclusion, where you can just watch it play out. And we all grew up Jordan and Kobe kids, and we got mad at LeBron because he seemed to pass away the last shot a lot of the times, even though it was the better basketball play. Tatum plays as a cog in the machine, and he's still getting his flowers. He still makes over $300 million. He's going to be an all NBA guy again this year. He was an all-star. He got invited to the Olympics. So I don't, where is he falling short other than, we see it for what it is. Like, it's just you're a cog in a machine, a very good cog, often the best cog in the machine, not always. And so you just don't get to belong in the same conversation with these guys that seem to carry their teams there. I mean, Luka wills that Mavericks team there last year. As good as Kyrie and PJ Washington, some of these guys played, Derek Lively. We watched Luka will his team there, like we did Kobe with those Laker teams in 2008 and 9, like we did Jordan back in the day. Every great player that ends up in this conversation for face of the league, Jason Tatum has done nothing to belong in those conversations.
Yeah, I think all athletes that take Jordan deals, they're like the boringest athletes ever. And I think that's what works to Luka's advantage, though. His boringness is his, like, that's his factor. It's kind of weird for Luka. He doesn't have to do much, but it's just like, how do you hate Luka? But like, even with the Zayas, a lot of these players off the court, they have no kind of marketability. They lack the aura. They lack an exciting story. Like, people don't even know where Jason Tatum is from. Everybody on the pod right now, what city is he from?
Is it St. Louis?
St. Louis. But I know.
You got it. But a lot of people like,
you're talking to sports.
You're right. You're right though, Tone. You're 100% right.
Like,
I know he's a Nelly guy.
I'll tell you another weird one, and you guys should know this one, probably know this one. But where's Steph Curry born?
Same hospital as LeBron. He was born in Akron, Ohio. Yeah.
Akron.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone's got a little different
stuff.
stuff.
Banging the drum every year for the fucking Panthers. What are we doing?
Well, that's because so he's born in the same hospital as LeBron, but his Dell was on the Charlotte most of his childhood.
Yeah, but I think Jordan Brand athletes, they're boring, man, and that's Tatum's. That's the only thing. On the floor, they're impeccable.
Okay, I can see
I'll
that.
say this too. While you were going, Tone, I just thought about this. Is it the fact that we all grew up playing so much one-on-one basketball and we respect one-on-one play, and Jason Tatum isn't a top player all time in that? Like, he's got every measurable. He does everything within the flow of the game. That's great. But he doesn't have those signature, okay, clear out the lane. Everyone's going to the baseline. We're giving this guy a one-on-one. Let him go to work. Because every great that we've been talking about had that ability. And I think when you said Luka's got this like boring awkwardness, it's because he can't like ever separate or kind of gets like, it's always he's getting a tough shot to go. And you're like, fucking A, great defense, better offense. You don't say that a lot for Tatum.
Right.
Hey, KG Low Josie says, if you bet that Pritchard would score 40 last night, it was at plus 2,400. I mean, if someone's sharking one of those, you're a sick bastard. Like, I just say, who's looking at Peyton Pritchard going for 40? I'll tell you right now, not me. So maybe I'm the idiot. But
I live with one. One of my roommates has got the NHL all modeled out. He's ready to go on a moment's notice when some of these things set off. So all of a sudden, if he knew 4 of these guys was sitting, this sicko would have been fucking all over it.
Good.
But that's what it takes to win. That's what it takes to win.
Good for him. So my final thoughts with Jason Tatum and the Celtics. It's tough. Celtics teams are usually always great. They have been ever since Bill Russell in that era. I mean, the 70s, it got a little. I mean, they were still damn good. I'm pretty sure they won titles when Russell was the coach. Not as many as in the 60s. Then in the 80s, you get Bird, and you're on these great teams, and Bird got his recognition. Everyone knew like how great Bird was. Then you go into the 90s, and when you get Paul Pierce, and you build a great team, and it's the great Celtics team. Then you get the Jason Tatum. You already had Jaylen Brown, who was drafted 3rd the year before. It comes in with Tatum. You're already on a good team with Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, even though Gordon Hayward snaps his leg. Then you go to the Eastern. Yeah, Al Horford and whoever. But then you get to the Eastern Conference Finals your rookie year, not because of how you didn't backpack the team. Yeah, you were a serviceable, good player on the team, but it's not like you shouldered something and did something where everyone's watching like, oh my God. We've never seen an oh my God moment from Jason Tatum. He's always just like Jack is saying, he's the best player on one of the best rosters. And that's,
Even those early years, Lance, like we were talking about last year, how any of those games, the Eastern Conference Finals, he wasn't the main headline. He wasn't the story. It was Jaylen Brown or Derek White. Yeah. Even those early days, this is how Marcus Smart gets himself a contract with the Grizzlies, where Marcus Smart like just overachieved like a motherfucker in those games.
And he would take the ball from Tatum. Remember, a big problem, yeah. Marcus Smart was taking the final shot instead of Jason Tatum. And that's why it was like, what the hell is this? But, and remember, that 22 finals, I know now he's a champion and we kind of overlook it. The Celtics were clearly the better team than the Warriors in that 22 finals, but they underperformed and got bitched by Steph Curry, who won his first finals MVP. All the credit in the world to them. But the Celtics underachieved in that finals, and no one ever talks about it, but everyone knows in the back of their head, this is why we don't consider Tatum one of the all-time greats. So that's my final piece on Celtics and Tatum. Anyone got any thoughts? Or is that it?
Good
Let's
to
move
go.
forward. All right. Next, we got Shaquille O'Neal has started to come out and say we should be putting Stephen Curry in the GOAT debate. What are your guys' thoughts?
Respectfully, I have nothing wrong against that.
Okay. So you, as the greatest basketball player of all time, you think Stephen Curry should be in that argument?
He's the greatest something, damn it. I tell you that. He's the
so
you know,
my
100% Tone.
He's the greatest shooter unanimously, hands down, and I'm like, why is that not enough credit?
That is enough, right?
That's what I thought too. I'm like, why do we have to make the argument into something it doesn't need to be, Shaq? I mean, Curry is the greatest shooter in the history of basketball. No one can shoot it like him.
What we need to start normalizing is realizing that the GOAT debate sooner or later is going to be 5, 10, 15 people. If you live long enough or whatever, you know, our kids are going to be debating amongst 6 GOATs, 7, you know, it's going to build. It's not going to, you know, and to the Jordan stands, it starts with you guys. It starts with you guys first and fucking foremost. You guys have to let go the you're doing too much riding, de-riding a little bit too much. Like it's gonna be more GOATs. You know, us LeBron fans, we are not like that. All right, but yeah, I'm sorry, Lance, man.
No,
yeah,
hey, I understand what you're saying.
I'm with you, and it's kind of like it's just an interesting thought experiment because I think when you have the Michael LeBron debate, I think sometimes the Michael supporters end up chirping back with things where they like almost hold LeBron's size and athleticism against him. Like, well, he's like, well, of fucking course, he's 6'9" and runs a 4.4. Of course, those things are going to happen. Like, he's just going to walk into stats. And some of that's kind of true, but it's like, is that really fair to hold his size against him? So it's almost like to put Steph in that debate, to me, you almost have to go like, and he's doing all this at 6'2", and like have that be a factor in the conversation. Because I'm kind of with you, like, it's an apples and oranges thing, but if you were going to go, we had one guy to go play the aliens kind of conversation, which is always the debate it's going to be. For me, it's he's on that fun conversation, and if we had a draft room, we'd put him in the conversation, but he'd never win. It would always come back to it's got to be LeBron James. Michael Jordan would be the last guy on that island we'd be debating, and Steph would probably be the guy right behind them as of now. You know, you'd have your Kobe guys, you'd have your guys that are 100 still telling me Bill Russell is the best guy to ever grace a basketball floor. You'd have, you know, some Larry Bird weirdo Boston guys telling me he belongs there. It would be, we'd be stuck, like you're saying, Tone, 10 guys we're talking about. But Steph wouldn't come out on top. He belongs in that room, and he's absolutely the best at the most important stat in basketball, but it's all together.
Could you imagine, though, if Steph, Jordan, and LeBron were never born, how would basketball look right now? The style of play and how would basketball look? If those 3 players were never born, how would basketball look?
You would know. I mean, it's insane. You'd never know. You can't even think.
When the best teams, you know, you hear Boston talk about how they had to completely reform their defense to play against LeBron, how the entire game plan starts from there. So as one individual, if you're getting the other best basketball team in the world completely redesigned around how you're playing, then you're in process of shaping how basketball is played from the top down. And that's only been a handful of guys all time. So really cool. We've grown up with so many of them, it seems.
Let me read some of the chat because we got some great points here. David Smerling tried to sneak in an NHL pick. Look at him. He said, speaking of NHL, Braden Point of Tampa Bay is getting a goal tonight. Hey, we'll put that in the back pocket, Smerling. We love you, brother. Lonnie Lyle, he says every era has a GOAT. I agree. I can agree with that. And KG Little Joe's talking about Steph Curry. He changed the game of basketball, but there is always a few great at each sport that changes the game. But it doesn't make him the GOAT. He will go down as one of the greatest of all time, but not the GOAT. Jeremy Cantor, Shaq forcing it into the conversation is definitely not what's going to make that happen. It took from Maradona and Pele to Messi and Ronaldo a long ass time, I think, to convert from who the goats of soccer were. Lonnie Lau, no Jordan equals no Kobe. And then here's James Morris, MJ1, Kobe 2. Yeah, we're not even. If you have Kobe at 2, you get the fuck out of here. We're not listening to that. I'm not having. There's no argument. Can't believe you two live in LA and you just throw LBJ. You should be Kobe fans. Well, I actually have free will and a brain to think for myself, so it doesn't matter where I'm from. I can recognize that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player to ever touch a basketball. So there's that.
You also heard Lonnie just nail it. There's no Kobe without Jordan.
Yeah.
It's the greatest compliment you can give Kobe is everyone tried to be like Mike, and he was the only guy to ever actually be like Mike. But he's not Mike, so it's still Mike to Kobe. Just a matter of where LeBron sits in there. And we can have that conversation for the next 20 hours, and no one will ever change their stance on it. The numbers are what they are.
They are what they are. Hey, me personally, I can get in an argument, and I can understand if someone were to tell me Kobe was a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. I could understand that because I could go look at the numbers. I could go see the scoring that Kobe was doing versus Jordan, teams that he was on versus Jordan. And I know the Shaq one, but all around was probably a better player, but it's just because the different eras. They didn't practice dribbling the way they do when Kobe was in his prime. They didn't shoot the way everything was different. There wasn't the same defenses. You couldn't run a zone. You couldn't do any of the things during Jordan's era that you could Kobe's. There's so much different variables and factors. That's why I agree with the eras argument. I agree. Just keep it in the eras. And it's because it's
take
tough.
It and soldier on. Take it and soldier on.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, then you start getting it gets re-kicked back up. You imagine Joe Montana playing with all the space today? He'd be fucking incredible. So, but you can't ever have that debate because you're playing video games now.
And me personally, I don't think Joe Montana would be that great because he couldn't throw the ball past 55 yards. So it's like it's just
Joe Montana would have been excellent.
It's just different. It's just there's a lot of arguments. Oh, here's KG Little Jones. He says, "Hey Lance, wait till you see my new T-shirt. It's a baby-sized LeBron cradle in Jordan's arms." I mean, you guys, you're from Chicago, so I don't see myself really winning any battles over here in the Jordan LeBron argument.
Hey. I hate to speed us up, but we got 4 minutes to some of my picks to kick off here.
Let's go. Let's move to picks. Everyone ready?
Yes.
All right. I'll start. Mine's a big parlay, and I'm taking them individually. So I'm just gonna rattle them off. Not even the opponent. You're just gonna hear them, and I promise take them. All right. Here we go. Rockets -4.5. Oilers of the NHL -1.5. Lakers -2.5. Austin Reeves over 18.5 points. LeBron James over 8.5 rebounds. Luka over 8.5 rebounds. And Luka over 8.5 assists. That's a 100-point multiplier as a parlay on Wana. So go lock that in and win you some free cheese in the main event. And those are the picks. Jack, go ahead.
College hoops is a goofy night tonight. A lot of the small schools getting their last games in or the beginnings of their conference tournament. So our only ranked game getting played tonight is Michigan State at Iowa, which that whole thing feels like a big stay away for me. It's Iowa senior night, Michigan State playing really good basketball. The whole thing screams stay away. So two kind of sleepy basketball college hoops picks here. Both Service Academy games. Going Army +8.5 versus Colgate. Colgate's got a losing record. Army's been decent all year, and they pretty much play to their number pretty consistently. 8.5 is way too many to be given Colgate, who's getting healthy and getting right, but still way too many. Boston -1.5 versus Navy. Boston's a good basketball team. They're going to storm through this tournament. Navy's Navy for basketball. If you've never seen Navy play basketball, it's exactly what you think it looks like. Rockets -4.5 at Pelicans. Boy, does it feel like the Rockets have to win a game. That's why I'm taking that. Rockets, you just have to win. You can't get on this slide right now and watch the Lakers just absolutely feed you lunch. And then playing that same bet I wanted on Tuesday, it's going to be Austin Reeves. As soon as I can confirm he's healthy, we'll be doing rebounds and assists. If he is a scratch, I will be flipping that to Dalton Connect, where I will do probably rebounds and points combined. It was something like 14.5 last game, and he hit 17. And honestly, didn't get a ton of minutes. Expect him playing a lot tonight. He's been shooting the shit out of the ball. So like both bets, but connect only if Reeves is out. Connect definitely not. Matter of fact, might track down his unders if Reeves is playing. That's all I got.
I like it. Tone, you ready to go?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to roll. And I'm sorry, I've been so forgetful, man. Carson had texted me during the show. I got a surprise for you guys. I'm gonna do it right after I tell the picks, but I'm gonna play something for you. I created an actual theme song for One a Parlay, and I'm gonna give you guys a taste of it before we get out of here.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So here's the picks. We're gonna run it down top to bottom. I'm gonna start with my spreads. I only got a couple of them. Hawks plus 2.5. I'm taking my home team tonight. We're at home, so we're gonna have Boosie in the crowd and a lot of other celebrities hyping up our team. And we're gonna have some high energy in there. So that also means that I'm taking the money line on the Hawks. Double W for them. Over on the total. I think this is for the Hawks. Over on the total for 230.5. Or no, that's for the Lakers game, I believe. Over on the total for 230.5 Lakers. Pelicans W. All right, now here's some player props. Curry over 27.5 tonight. Jimmy Butler over 17.5 tonight. Yabusele over 13.5 tonight. Zion over 23.5 tonight. All of these are points. Pelicans under 12.5 three-pointers. That's a sneaky one right there for you guys. Pelicans under 12.5 three-pointers. TSU Bakerfield with the W. Podziemski for the Warriors over 13.5 points. Draymond over 9.5 points. Tari Eason over 11.5 points. Vandy, that's Vanderbilt. That's the Lakers player, guys. Vandy over 4.5 points. Luka over 8.5 assists. Jackson Hayes over 5.5 points. LeBron over 1.5 steals and blocks. Cole Anthony over 15.5 points plus rebounds. And last but not least, Lonzo 9.5 points over. Lock them in. So I hit last night in twice, two categories, 250 and 125, I believe. So yeah, y'all go check them leaderboards.
Stay hot, Tom. It's a beautiful thing. I think I missed all but 4 picks there. I was fucking cooking though. It's as good as I've ever done.
It's so awesome. I get to just watch Jack, like what he's typing in because we're on the same dock. Just sitting here, I'm just watching him rattle.
Sitting there in dumb face, typing like a fucking 95-year-old, just fucking.
Hey, that's good stuff. A lot that I'm gonna be tailing on this board. So Tone, you said you got a song for us?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it for you. For those who don't know, I'm also I'm a rapper, but I'm also Lil Boosie Badass. I'm his engineer, and I just got my first 2 platinum plaques not too long ago, a couple months ago. So
hey, okay,
fuck yeah, Tone.
Parlay song, and you guys are gonna love it. It is crazy, but let's get to it.
I'm so stoked.
Can I hear this?
Can you hear it?
No, it's only
No, I hear
in
it
and
like
out.
trying to turn on.
It's fine. Oh, hold on. I'll put it through. Can you hear it now?
It's only cutting
Still
in
now.
and out. What
Do I need to
what do you
to
what do
you?
you yeah, I was gonna say, what do you have it on?
I was just playing it out of my iTunes, but I can email it to you real fast.
Yeah.
What's the email?
I wonder the best way to do this. Let me think.
Yeah.
Is it on Spotify or only Apple Music?
No, it's not released yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you can yeah,
We're getting
maybe
exclusive.
maybe email it to me, or I hate to bring up this idea, but I'm like, should we postpone and let's debut it Monday so then we have it emailed to me and I can
I'm straight up just gonna say, without listening to it, blind faith. It's officially our intro and outro.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, 100%. I'm like,
it's a wrap. Tell him you would never lead us astray.
Right.
I'm so stoked we're adding this to the fucking show. A little cred. Here we go. Was Lonnie your guy, by the way? Did you bring Lonnie in today? Our guy in the chat?
Yeah, he's been.
Lonnie was spitting. Lonnie, welcome to the party. Appreciate to have you. Yeah, so I say we go do that. Email to Lance. We'll lead off next episode and close out with it. And we'll have some fun with it.
Yeah, I'm fired up for the song. We appreciate you, Tony. You're the fucking man. You're the legend. This is good stuff. But I like that.
Until then, people, you guys got the picks. This was the Wanna Parlay podcast, home of all things Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000. We just concluded our little round of episodes in this one a week, but these contests are running all day, and the weeklies are running all the way till Sunday, including the main event. Just costs you $2 to have a chance at $2,000. People are clipping that off left and right. We've had guys like Dialed Picks on, who's coming up on 50K watch. You want to make some decent money? I promise you, spend your time around Wanna Parlay this weekend. We will be back next Monday, celebrating the Wanna Week winners of the weekend, as well as talking all the important sports lines and turn our attention to college hoop season as it ramps up with all the conference tournaments next week, heading into Selection Sunday, and then eventually March Madness, which we've been anxiously awaiting for some time. But yeah, we'll be back same time next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. We'll be officially debuting Tone's self-made track and intro and outro music going forward for this fine program. And that is it. Lance, unless you got anything else, take us out.
Nope. I appreciate everyone for showing up and showing out. Oh, here's Tone. What's up, Tone?
No, I was gonna say funny thing, Jack. I put it in your text. Just I didn't know if that changed anything. If you was able to, but if not, we'll hold it for the next show. It should be in your.
I think Lance, because he runs our like operating board. Like I could do it if I was gonna say
play it because the best way, because if we get it on my computer, I can play it like perfectly, like
cool.
Yeah.
Well, you got it, Jack, and when you get
I'll fire it to Lance. And we're good to go.
Yep.
Hey, everyone that showed up and showed out in the chat, we appreciate you all. The David Smerlings, the KG Little Joes, the James Morrises, Lonnie Lau, new guy, Robert Vincent. Here's another new guy. I haven't seen him, but all you legends, we appreciate you. We'll be back Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And till next time, my friends, we'll see you then. Adios. See ya.